Good afternoon. Today we'll be learning how to make a cookie cutter out of a tin can. First step of this is to disassemble a can. I used a can opener to take off the bottom of the can to start off with. So, as you can see, I worked my way around the can, slowly cutting it. I couldn't go in one motion as the tin opener wouldn't spin. So, I'm working on slowly. Again, this saves you a bit of time in the long run as it leaves a bit of a cleaner edge so it's easier to deal with. You work your way around. Eventually, you'll come to a point now you'll see the can lid starts to lift off. You just keep working. And here we go, you'll see it just comes off now. Quite simple, here it comes. As you can see, there it is, gone. So, the following step will be to look for the little line along the can. This is the seam of the can. So take your scissors and cut along the seam. Starting off at the bottom or top, up to you, but cut halfway. Don't try and cut too far as it becomes quite difficult and it becomes easy to miss the line. Swap it over and continue back from the opposite side. Again, just cut until you're cut and it should come apart. This should create quite a clean cut. In my case, it left a tiny bit of metal, which you can see I've pulled off and put aside. So now you want to straighten your can out a bit. By doing this, you're just making it a bit easier to work in future. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is find the center of the can now. You're going to use a Koki to do this, preferably a whiteboard Koki as it's easy to clean off and you don't have to worry about it too much. So as you can see, I've started off here by trying to figure out where the dips are, as it can be kind of hard to make these out from the trough. So start off by working your way through, by just marking each one and counting. You'll notice here I make one long one. That long one is the center of the can in this case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make little holes along the can. This is the way I'm going to break this can off. You can use other methods. This to me is the easiest way to get a straight line. I just used a knife that I didn't really care about as it will get blunt, a cutting board to protect the table below, and you just work your way along. As you can see now with all the little holes, you just got to bend it a couple times for it to start breaking along that seam. So I just bent it over, being careful not to bend it too much to the point where I damage the can itself. So you go through again, a bit of a wiggle, and there it comes. So it'll take a bit of time, but you eventually get it. You get better at it as you do it more and more. Almost there, breaking it now. There we go. So the next step will be to look at your edges. See this one here? It's quite a clean edge already, to the point where we don't need to touch it up. This one, however, as you can see, it's a bit raised on the one side. So what you're going to want to do is cut along the surface with your pair of scissors just to make it neater so that when you fold it over, it looks a bit better. So as we cut along here, I'm using the little ridge where it changes in elevation as a way to line my scissors up and follow. So I'm just taking my time as it will save you time in the future with not needing to redo this step. Well, there we go. Now you can see this edge is a lot cleaner and can be used now. Well, so that's pretty much it in preparing your can. Today we'll be learning how to make a Pentagon cookie cutter. Okay, so you'll notice that there are 4 sides first of all. 4 equal sides. These all make up 4 of the sides of the pentagon. The 2 shorter sides make up 1. As usual, we don't want to have our seam on one of the bends, so we make it form in the middle of one of the bends. So you start off by getting your top of your can ready, by bending it over like so. Okay. Now it's bent over, just use your fingers to push it over so that you can do it easily. Okay, and work along with the pliers. Like I said, in every video I always say, the more time you spend this, the better it will look. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bend each of these sections in. You'll notice that we're just going to fix the lines here. Okay. Remember when marking your lines to leave a bit of excess on either end for the parts that will connect together. All of these folds will go in the same direction now. All be bent inwards. Your angles do not need to be perfect when you're doing this. We'll fix the angles when we get to it. There we go. Okay. So now we see we're coming up to our last main bend. Bend it over nicely. Okay, so there you can see the general shape of our pentagon. Now you'll notice I'm lining up the edge here to figure out exactly where we're going to draw our lines now that it's all folded together. Okay. So here I'm looking at it, I get my Koki out to mark it up. Now, what you're going to notice is I'm going to change sides here. Okay, so I'm saying now, we are going to remember that we need to bend these in opposite directions so that they will hook together. Because if they don't hook together, then it's kind of pointless. So see, I'm bending it inwards. This one will be bent outwards. The next one will be bent outwards, yeah. Okay. So you can see I'm just fixing up the edge here as it bent a bit weirdly when I was bending it. This is why I say you should bend from either end. Just push it down with your fingers now. If it's still a bit stiff to do with your fingers, just use the pliers to bend it a little bit further. Hook them together, and just use your pliers as usual to clamp it. Okay, there we go. Now that it's nice and smooth on top, we're pretty much done at this point. Thank you very much for watching us make a pentagon today. It's quite a basic shape. Thank you so much. Bye.